In an age when established automakers are giving up on traditional body styles such as the hatchback or the sedan, only to replace them with boxy crossovers, Kia offers its compact hatch for Europe in no fewer than 4 different body styles. The car you see behind me is the Xceed, which is the slightly tall crossover version of the Ceed, but it's still a Ceed. The Xceed you see behind me is a facelifted example with a plug-in hybrid powertrain. Let me show you around the vehicle. The biggest changes that Kia made to the Xceed facelift are to the vehicle's face. It gets new full LED headlights with this really cool light signature with the 3 motif. And these actually turn into the indicators when you indicate. Let me show you. And I think it looks really cool. It definitely makes the Xceed look more modern than it used to. They're really cool. You also get integrated indicators in the side mirrors. The bumper and the grille are also new. Kia has moved the fog lights from around here to within the actual headlights in order to create this air curtain thing here, which apparently allows the vehicle to be even more slippery than before. The grille is an evolution of Kia's Tiger Nose grille, which we are quite familiar with for many years now. There's also an aluminum looking skid plate under the bumper. Yeah, it looks really cool. The bumper definitely helps the vehicle look really modern, as does the color, which is new for the facelift. From the side, you would be hard-pressed to notice that anything is different. Kia did change the wheels with the facelift, so these 18-inch wheels are new, as are the 16-inch wheels that come as standard on the car. The color, whose name I forgot, really makes the Xceed stand out. And it is one of the most important additions with the facelift, if you ask me. Since this is the plug-in hybrid version, this is where the charging port is located. The car doesn't have fast charging, but that's all right because the battery is kind of small anyway. I like that the car has gloss black mirror caps. They make it look really sporty, even though it isn't sporty at all. I also like the satin finish that goes around the side glass, and it's also on the roof rails. It really looks nice and premium, and I'm pretty sure it's plastic, but it looks like fancy, expensive metal. One thing that sets any Ceed apart from its rivals is the fact that it has independent rear suspension in an age when everybody is shifting to more rudimentary setups, the most common being the torsion beam type suspension. Moving to the back, the car got a new bumper with its facelift. It looks pretty cool. I'm happy that Kia got rid of the fake exhausts that the car used to get. You now just have a hint of exhaust with that silver strip. The exhaust itself is actually under the car, you can see it there. The badge for the plug-in hybrid version features the same font as the Kia EV6. And I think it might actually be the same as the new Kia logo, or the KN logo, as many people know it. My tester doesn't have the optional new rear lights, which get a very alien-looking hexagonal pattern. These, I think, are identical to the ones on the pre-facelift model. These reflectors and reversing lights are integrated here. On the GT line car, this piece here, the fake diffuser that here is gloss black, is actually painted in the same color as the body. You cannot get the Xceed plug-in hybrid as a GT line car. Let's open up the trunk. So with a plug-in hybrid, you lose some capacity. It drops from 426 liters to 291 liters. And that's because, while you do get some underfloor storage here, if I manage to peel this away, what you see there is the 8.9 kilowatt hour battery for the plug-in hybrid system. The trunk itself is reasonably practical though, in spite of its fairly small capacity. I imagine this is for a fire extinguisher, this strap here. You also get a 12-volt tie-down hook here, another one here. Believe it or not, this is where the 12-volt battery is, behind this cover. The rear seat can be folded 40-60, although I'm pretty sure you can also get a 40-20-40 type split on other versions. And with the back seat folded, capacity increases to over 1,300 liters, making the Xceed, even in plug-in hybrid guise, quite practical. Another premium touch that you may not see on a vehicle in this class is the electric trunk that opens and closes via the button. Interestingly, you can also open and close it via the button on the key fob. The Xceed is a few centimeters longer than the Ceed hatchback. It is taller by a few centimeters when it comes to its ride height, and its suspension is not only taller but ever so slightly softer. Interestingly, the Xceed is the only variant that gets active hydraulic bump stops, which is I think pretty cool. So it's just like Citroen's and DS models. I wouldn't say the Xceed suspension is quite as soft as what you might find on a Citroen C4, the latest one, but it's not far off. It's definitely considerably softer than the regular Ceed, which actually feels a bit sporty. So I prefer that to this. But if you want comfort and a little bit of extra ground clearance, which by the way, this has around 18 and a bit centimeters of, and you get more ground clearance with the big wheels, the Xceed is definitely for you. And in some markets, believe it or not, the Xceed is actually the most popular Ceed variant. In the UK, for instance, it accounts for over 50% of all Ceed sales and 10% of Kia's total sales figure in the country, which is quite impressive. And this model is definitely striking a chord with British buyers. Let me show you what's under the hood real quick, and then I'll show you the interior, and then we'll take it for a drive. Powering the plug-in hybrid powertrain is a 1.6 liter naturally aspirated engine with around 100 horsepower. It is aided by a 60 horsepower electric motor, and together they can provide up to 141 horsepower and 265 Newton meters of torque. Top speed is limited to 160 kilometers per hour if you get the smaller wheels, while with the 18-inch wheels, that is increased to 180 kilometers per hour. You can tell by this really bright orange cable here that this is indeed a heavily electrified vehicle. Okay, I'm going to show you the interior now. Space in the back is okay. It's not the roomiest car in the world. I just about fit behind myself, but it's not bad. Headroom isn't especially good either, because this has the tapering roofline, but even tallish adults will feel reasonably okay in here on longer journeys. It's not torture to sit back here. Rear occupants also get an armrest with cup holders, and they are pretty deep, so it's quite useful. You also get climate control vents and a single USB-C for charging. You also get ISOFIX for the two outer seats. And what's cool about Kia's solution to covering up the ISOFIX points, you have this spring-loaded cover here, which is much better than what some automakers are doing with those detachable covers that you are so prone to losing that it's not even funny. My Tester, being super well equipped, has a heated rear bench. Well, the outer two seats are heated anyway. The car also has decently sized door pockets. This is a 1 liter bottle and it fits in there quite snugly. As you can see, Kia informs you that you're not supposed to put like coffee cups in here, the disposable kind, I assume. As you can see, Kia suggests that you only put bottles in here and not another type of container. My Tester is equipped with keyless entry, and you know the car has recognized you, if you have your key on you that is, as you approach it, because the mirror folds out. However, the car isn't unlocked yet. You still have to press this little button to unlock the vehicle. Climbing aboard the Xceed facelift, you really struggle to see what Kia has actually changed. And that's because it really hasn't changed that much. The biggest difference, let me start it up, is the new digital driver's display, which gets some pretty cool graphics actually. And it's configurable. You can do all sorts of things in the middle there. If you put the car in sport mode, the dials will change to this sportier look. The steering wheel is the same as before the facelift. It's still a reasonably nice and sporty wheel. It's quite thin here where you have the grips to hold it, but it's nice. It is also heated, which is pretty cool. This car has a lot of features you wouldn't normally find on a non-premium car in this class. For instance, you get not only electric seats, but they also have a memory function, which is really cool. Another unexpected premium feature are the ventilated seats, which are really effective, I might add. You can also get this car with a heated windscreen. This car also has physical climate controls, which are really good. And this vehicle, being the plug-in hybrid, gets this button that essentially shuts off that zone of climate control and also the one in the back, and only blows air on the driver in order to conserve its electrons from the battery and to preserve range and increase range. Below is the wireless charging thing for your phone. You have this quite premium storage cubby here, where you will find a 12 volt, a USB-A and a USB-C. Interestingly, it looks like the USB-C is only for charging, and the older style USB might be the data connection. You also have a sunglasses holder, which is quite rare in cars these days, but it's pretty nice. The infotainment screen works really well. You have touch shortcuts here. I would have liked them to be physical buttons, but I can't complain. The car gets Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which are wireless. You can have an app on your phone to check up on your car and see various parameters. The driving position is pretty good. The seats are also okay. In my tester, they have perforated leather because they are cooled. These are optional seats, but you can get another set of optional seats in the GT line car, which actually get larger side supports here that make you feel just a little bit sportier. Although, since this is a soft car aimed at people who want comfort and practicality and a few dozen kilometers on electricity, I don't think they will appreciate those seats very much. What I don't like about the center console though is the fact that Kia opted to put glossy plastic here, which looks kind of crap. Or it looks good when you buy the car, but it ends up looking kind of crap. The gear selector is the same one you are familiar with from the older model. Cup holders here. The armrest cubby is really deep, and you can also slide it forward for extra comfort, and you can also hide the cup holders via this slidey thing. You have an auto hold button here, the electric parking brake within easy reach. Materials are generally pretty good. My very well-spec'd tester even has this stitching here on the dash, which is pretty premium. You get soft materials quite low all the way down here, and then afterwards it's hard. But on the doors, it's soft here, and well, just soft here. Afterward, it is hard plastic. Finally, let's see how damped and how easy the glove box opens. Not quite up to the standards of a premium car, but pretty good. The driver's seat in my tester is electric, and when you open the door, the seat slides back to give you more room to climb into the vehicle. And when you start the vehicle, or rather when you press the brake pedal, it will slide you into your driving position that you have set. Before we set off, let me run you through my tester's spec. So the car, with everything on it and VAT included, is 43,253 euros. I think it's about as expensive as Xceeds get. So the exterior color finish is called Splash Lemon. The interior color is Saturn Black. So my tester is a Vision trim level vehicle. So that means it gets rear privacy glass, the glossy black exterior mirrors, the Continental Sport Contact 6 tires, which by the way are really grippy, especially for a vehicle that's as soft and wallowy as this one. The trim level also includes the electric driver's seat with memory function, lumbar support for the driver and passenger, manual height adjustment for the passenger seat, the leather upholstery, front and rear heated seats, cooled seats, the netting behind the seats. Is that really part of the pack? Anyway, it says it is, so it must be true. Front and rear electric windows with a safety function, which we're gonna test now. Nope, no safety whatsoever. Let me try it again. Nope. Maybe in the rear? So in the rear it does work. Wonder why it doesn't work in the front. Maybe it has to go all the way down? Okay, now it works. Now it doesn't. Am I doing something wrong? Anyway, reasonably safe side windows. It also has the digital driver's display, which is a 12.3-inch display and is called the Supervision cluster. The upgraded LED headlights, blind spot collision avoidance assist with rear cross traffic alert and avoidance, And it also has the HDA, which is the Highway Driving Assist, that includes navigation-based smart cruise control, which I tested and it's pretty good, but it's not the best. Anywho, let's see how the Xceed Plug-In Hybrid drives. No Xceed version is available with all-wheel drive, but it's really not the kind of car that people might want with all-wheel drive, if I'm honest. I mean, especially in this plug-in hybrid, guys, with around 48 kilometers of electric range from its 8.9 kilowatt-hour battery pack, I would imagine this vehicle would be bought by someone who lives in the suburbs, close to a big city, and they want to commute to work every day and back without actually having to start the car's internal combustion engine. So if they charge it at home and also at work maybe, in such a use case, I imagine that the gas engine under the hood would hardly ever start. And for those people, it would make a lot of sense to get this variant. But if you have a second car with a diesel engine, I'm sorry I used the D word, but that's still the best for long journeys, then it might not be the best idea to get the plug-in hybrid. You can just get any engine variant and you can drive this in town and you can have your bigger diesel car for longer journeys. But if you want just one vehicle, then this PHEV actually makes sense. So I'm cruising now at 60 kilometers per hour on electricity, and I don't hear that much wind noise. I do hear a bit of tire noise. Those 18-inch wheels do make their presence felt in the cabin, if I'm honest. And if we increase speed to 100 kilometers per hour, by the way, you can drive this on electricity alone up to a claimed 120 kilometers per hour, but cruising up to this road, I actually got it close to 130 or maybe even more. I mean, you can almost do the speed limit on highways in Europe. I didn't find a way to adjust regenerative braking strength in this car, and I do think that some paddles behind the steering wheel would have been nice, especially since in place of paddles you actually get two screw holes here that are really rather sharp, and you can hurt yourself on them, and they are definitely not very premium. So the plug-in hybrid version of this car also gets a unique menu in the infotainment that is specifically dedicated to the plug-in hybrid part. So for instance, now it's showing me where current is flowing to and from, and now it's flowing from the battery to the motor because we are using it up. But if I lift off, juice starts flowing back into the battery. So now with 51% left in the 8.9 kilowatt hour pack, we can hit a theoretical electric only range of 17 kilometers. On the same screen you have a button called Charge Management, which you also have a physical version of to the left of the steering wheel. This is unique to the electrified version. And here you can like set a charging schedule, your next departure time, blah blah blah. So if you charge this at home, this is an ideal thing to set up. Charging the car is reasonably quick, even though, like I said, there's no fast charging. But with a peak charging rate of 7.2 kilowatts, this will top the battery in around 3 hours. So I've put the car in sport now, and we're gonna accelerate hard. The car pulls reasonably well. Performance isn't amazing, if I'm honest, but it's okay. We're already doing 120 kilometers per hour. And I will concede that you can definitely hear quite a bit of wind noise in the vehicle as speed builds. Let's see how this car handles a corner. So its suspension is taller and softer than the Xceed hatch, but with those Conti Sport contacts, it really grips. There's definitely a bit of lean here. Quite a lot of it actually. But for the kind of people who are going to buy this vehicle, that's not going to be an issue. Looking at the reversing camera in this vehicle, it's not among the best I've ever seen in a car. In fact, it's quite grainy and pixelated. I would say it would have been good in 2014, but today it feels a bit outdated. Another thing that's outdated about this car is the fact that no matter what you do, you cannot specify a 360-degree around view camera system, which is a shame because lots of cars have that these days. And they don't have to be premium or expensive cars. But the Xceed, even though in this configuration it's over 40,000 euros, doesn't have that feature. I'm still surprised at how decent this car is through the corners. I mean, once you get used to the lean, it's actually not that bad. The car has hydraulic bump stops on the front, and Kia says that this not only improves ride comfort, especially over broken surfaces, but it also has a positive effect on steering, sharpness, and input levels. I honestly can't say, but this car feels sharp enough. The steering in all new Kias is quite sharp. I wouldn't go so far as to say that Kia is the new Ford when it comes to packing as much fun and enthusiast-pleasing handling into all its cars, but it's definitely close, and it might surpass Ford one day, especially since the Blue Oval is focusing on electric crossovers exclusively. And as I said at the start of the video, European manufacturers are moving away from traditional body styles that used to be hugely popular here a decade or two ago, and they are making more Americanized cars, and by that I mean they are big, bloated, and not very sporty, and they are usually tall SUV crossover-esque type things. Whereas Kia, which is a South Korean automaker, really wants to out-European the Europeans in Europe. So in an age when Ford is just about to give up on the Focus, Volkswagen probably will pull the plug on the Golf as we know it pretty soon. Also, Kia is offering 4 different body styles for its Focus and Golf rivaling hatchbacks. And that's really something. So the Ceed is available as the standard hatch, the Pro Ceed sporty shooting brake type thing. I guess that has a similar body style to the Mercedes CLA wagon. Then there's a more traditional wagon body style, and then this. So 4 different body styles in total. And don't think it's a half-assed job like Ford did with the Focus Active that just has some cladding around it. The Xceed is a bespoke car. It is longer than the hatch by I think 4 or 5 centimeters. In fact, the only body part that they actually share are the front doors, and that's it. Every other part of the Xceed is unique to the Xceed. And frankly, it's also my favorite looking of all the Ceed variants currently on offer, because it is definitely the sportiest looking. I would even say it's even sportier than the Pro Ceed, which is supposed to be the overtly sporty one. It's as if Kia was making an effort to make this the most appealing variant of Ceed on offer. I think it's also the most expensive variant, so maybe that's why Kia wanted to push this model, but there you go. Just like other Ceed variants, the Xceed is built in Žilina in Slovakia, so it's a properly European car, designed and built in Europe, and you can really tell. It's a fantastic effort from Kia. It is another indication of how far this Korean automaker has come, and it's a strong suggestion that it will keep improving, and not only will it match its European rivals, but it will end up surpassing them. Great car this. I can really understand why it's so popular. I also want to drive the Pro Ceed soon, so stay tuned for a video of that with its lower and stiffer suspension and GT line pack, which by the way you cannot get on the plug-in hybrid version of the Xceed. You can get the GT line pack on any other Xceed, but not on the plug-in. That pretty much sums things up. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like it and subscribe to the channel if you did, and I'll see you in the next one.